Hello. I am extremely terrified to release this video. However, I feel that this video is extremely necessary considering what has happened the past few days. So, my name is Nick Spoon Reads. Back in 2015, I used to go by EvAn Ze Geek, and I used to be friends with a YouTuber by the name of Rye-Rye99. Rye was a FNAF, SFM, and Gmod YouTuber. He created different animations like FNAF's Got Talent, Crazy Random Stufs, and more. Recently, multiple people have come forward about their experiences with Rye, and what I've discovered and learned is extremely disgusting and extremely deplorable. I want to give my love and support to the victims of Rye's actions. I am so sorry, so sorry that it took me this long to finally see the disgusting actions that this man has done. I also would like to clarify that I have typed out what I want to say in this video on a script, and I want to be able to get everything that I know I want to say out there and not stumble over my words. In this video, I will be telling my experience with Rye, having been his friend for 10 years. I want to give a trigger warning as well for those who are watching. These stories will include talks of sexual topics and self-harm. With that, let's begin. When I was 11 years old, I met Rye in 2015. I met him in a Steam voice chat. At the time, I was a huge fan of his work and wanted to hopefully be in one of his videos. I got way more than that. Rye created my OC, which was a dark yellow Bonnie with a top hat and glasses. I tell you all this because you guys know who I am and who I was. I was known as EvAn Ze Geek, and I frequently appeared in Rye's videos. When I was 11, I got into a call with Rye, one-on-one. It was a Skype call. We were simply hanging out when, out of nowhere, he tells me about a joke that he heard one of his friends tell him, and he thought it was really funny. And then he says the punchline was a word that is used to refer to sexual self-pleasure. I won't say exactly what it is, but I think you can put two and two together. And considering what all of the other victims have come out and said that he has done, I think you can assume what it is. When I was told this, I did not even know what the word meant, nor did I even know what it was. In that same call, he showed me some of the behind-the-scenes videos he had made with his friend Zach. One of them involved him and Zach doing a challenge where, at the beginning, Zach was wearing Rye's shirt. Rye then jokingly pulled Zach out of frame while screaming, "Hey, give me back my shirt." In the video that was on YouTube, it would cut right there. But Rye, quote-unquote, accidentally showed too much of the video and proceeded to show me parts of the video where he was completely shirtless. He then claimed he didn't mean to show that, to which I pretended and said that I didn't see it. He still claimed that it was an accident, but I'm more inclined to believe that he did this on purpose. Keep in mind that I was only 11 years old when this call happened. I do believe that what happened was not an accident, but intentional. Later down the line, when I was around 14 or 15, I decided to share a silly video with him I thought was funny. It was an animation called "Get Out of My Car Now," but it was vocoded to "O Canada," which is Canada's national anthem. I thought Rye would get a kick out of it, and since he's Canadian, I shared it with him. I thought he'd find it funny. Instead, he proceeded to get extremely offended and yelled at me for sharing it. I didn't intend to offend him, and I fully believed I was in the wrong for sharing it with him that night, when I know now that that never was the case. I know that Rye completely overreacted and acted immature over a simple video I thought was pretty silly. It was not offensive in any way, shape, or form. It was not rude. It was not derogatory. It was simply just a silly meme animation that was vocoded to the national anthem of Canada. Fast forward to 2019, I'm a freshman in high school. I'm on my school bus to go home from school when, out of nowhere, I'm dragged into a group call with Rye and AJ Markle, who is named Aaron, and I will be referring to him as that from now on. Aaron and Rye dragged me into a group chat and demanded that I join the group call. I tell them that I'm on my school bus and that I wouldn't be able to hear them well, and they still proceeded to demand that I join the call because it was important. They were asking me why I had the name Z Geek in my name after Land of the Geeks shut down and was rebranded to Zany Gaming. My name was still EvAn Ze Geek at the time. I told them that I just really liked the name and thought it would be a cool name to have as I built my YouTube career. I just thought it was a silly name that allowed me to stand out in some way. Despite this, they pushed me to change and even went as far as to shame me for continuing to use a name from a group they said was defunct and full of bad memories. I didn't want to change my name. I thought the name was cool. I really did enjoy having my name like that. Despite this, I finally decided to change my name fully, even though I never wanted to change it in the first place. Now, it's time to talk about the main event that caused the most damage to me and what led me to creating this video. This is your trigger warning. There will be talks of extremely sensitive topics. Rye and Aaron abused me and my girlfriend Olivia when we were minors. In early 2021, when I was 16 and she was 17, we were having a lot of arguments in our relationship, and it led to us deciding that we needed a break for a bit. It was a very rough spot in our relationship that we were slowly healing from, but little by little, we were putting the pieces back together. Now, I will admit that I was not a good person back then. I was an immature, selfish, and controlling brat in the relationship, and it led me to lashing out a lot at my friends and Olivia. I'm not proud of this time in my life and never will be. I was an immature kid who constantly was thinking about himself and what he wanted rather than others. Despite this, I was still smart enough to know that I needed to get help, and that's exactly what I did. I started going to therapy and actively found ways of being able to control my anger and learn to improve and mature as a person. These changes helped me as a person and helped with Olivia and I's relationship. Rye and Aaron had known about our break, and they decided to take advantage of the situation. Olivia had been playing games with the Rye-Cord server after I had been banned from the server due to my constant lashing out moments. Over time, though, Rye seemed to think that I shouldn't be with Olivia no matter what, and that Olivia shouldn't be wasting her time with me. This is when Aaron would start to message me, where he would tell me that I needed to let Olivia go. He repeatedly told me to stop trying to get with her despite the fact that both Olivia and I were hanging out as friends and slowly rebuilding our relationship after I had fixed myself. Around this time, I was starting to feel extremely lonely. There was a point in time where I thought no one would be there for me, that everyone I loved turned on me, and that the world would be a better place if I was gone. I didn't feel safe in my own girlfriend's server because Rye and Aaron were moderators in the server. I felt like that every action that I did was constantly monitored and frowned upon no matter what I did. Along with the experiences that I had with Rye and with their presence of being moderators, I felt like that I was walking on eggshells and that I needed to be very, very careful with what I said and did. When I was in a voice call with her and some others, I had to take a minute to step away from the call. I was automatically moved to the AFK channel due to lack of activity. When I came back, however, I was about to rejoin the call when I saw that Rye and Aaron had joined the call. In that moment, I felt like I wasn't allowed to join anymore. I felt that my presence would not be welcomed and would be shamed. These two had such a giant hold over me that I felt like I wasn't welcomed in the one place I felt the most at home at. That night, for the first time, I had thoughts of ending my own life. I was genuinely considering it because of all the pain, stress, and torment these two had done to me. I was stressed out. I didn't know who else to turn to. I didn't want to share it with my parents. And because I had once explained the situation to them, but they didn't exactly understand it completely. I couldn't talk to anyone. I felt like that I was stuck and that I wasn't able to talk to anybody else about this, which led me to consider ending it all. The thing that stopped me from ending my life, however, was because of how close I was to my 17th birthday. I wanted to see how many people really cared about me, and I'm thankful that I never went through with it. I had an amazing 17th birthday. I got to play games and spend time with my friends, who, some of which I still am in contact with to this day, including Olivia. Despite us being on a break, she went out of her way to share a lot of love and kindness to me. And yeah. The very next day, however, my great-grandma passed away in her sleep. It was a tremendous gut punch to my family, as she was the one that kind of brought the entire family together and kind of the only thing keeping the family together. After she had died, my family slowly drifted apart, which really did a number on me, as I always enjoyed spending time with my family at the family gatherings, and her absence led to us falling or drifting apart. Despite knowing this, Aaron still continued to harass me and demanding that I stop trying to seek a relationship with Olivia. I was so desperate to make things right that I was literally willing to do whatever, and I mean literally whatever, they wanted from me just so that I could make things right. So they made me make 2 apology videos for Rye. 2 apology videos that I know were not needed. But at the time, I was so desperate to try to make things right with them and try to feel like I was accepted again in the friend group that they were a part of, just so that I wouldn't feel like I was left out or if I was seen as less than trash. And I wanted to try to prove to them that I was healing and I was improving myself, and Olivia and I were working things out. Fast forward to June of 2021. Olivia and I are playing Battle Block Theater together. When out of the blue, she told me that there was a mod call occurring in her server and that her presence was needed. She told me that she'll be right back after the mod call. She never came back that night. When she joined the mod call, it wasn't actually about anything involving her server, the members in it, or if there were any rules broken in her server. It was actually a call to confront her because she had been hanging out with me more and more. This call was organized by Rye and Aaron with a couple other mods there. Rye has had a history of people not wanting to play with him and him pitching fits over it. And I assume that this is no different. However, the extent that they took was something I did not think they would ever go to. From what I was told, Rye and Aaron shouted at, belittled, and shamed Olivia for hanging out with me more and wanting to get back with me at some point. They also insulted me tons and tons of times behind my back during this call. They were demanding that she stop trying to get with me and instead get with someone else whom she thought she started to have feelings for, but she quickly realized were not romantic feelings. Rye and Aaron took this possibility and ran with it as if it was law, acting like it's meant to be. They went as far as to even drag the said person into the call to try and get them both to become a couple. When Olivia refused, Rye flat out yelled at her and said, "People like him don't deserve a second chance." Him being me. This mod call pushed me. This mod call pushed Olivia to tears, and she left on her own accord. This call was a coordinated effort to make Olivia fully break up with me and force her into a relationship she never wanted to be in. And even after this attempt to force a relationship on her, Aaron continued to message me and tell me to let her go. This eventually stopped in late July, which is around the time when Olivia and I were finally able to reciprocate our relationship, and we got back together again after having a movie night date. After some thinking and pondering to myself, I finally decided to tell Rye in a message how I truly felt about him and about what he has caused to me, what he had done to me. It was a long and detailed message, and I didn't hold back on the things I truly felt about him. I'll leave the message I sent him in the comments. I couldn't send the message to him on Discord as he had blocked me on there, so I had to send it to him on Skype. Within less than an hour, Aaron messaged me instantly and demanded to know what I was thinking and why I had the nerve to send that message. I simply said that I was telling Rye how I felt about how he treated me. It became clear to me that Rye seemed to have Aaron as his wingman and hype man. I argued with Aaron back and forth while I was in a call with Olivia. She was helping me with my responses as well. Aaron got pissed at me and said that it was a big invasion of privacy that Olivia was also seeing the DMs. Yet, what was occurring was something she was also involved in. So, Rye and Aaron agreed to do a call with me and Olivia. We made the group chat, and we started the call. There's no recording of this call, unfortunately. If we had known it would be this important, we would have recorded it, and I would have had the mod call, or not the mod, the call in this video. Within an instant of the call starting, Aaron immediately began shouting at us, which Olivia responded with the same level as him. I, being the youngest person in the call, had to be the one to stop the arguing and be the voice of reason in keeping the peace, civility, preventing further arguments, and preventing people from talking over each other in the call. Rye had apparently been crying because of the message I sent. We argued, and I told him that this was truly how I felt, and the pain that he had caused me. led me to making that message. A few more back and forths, we eventually settled our differences and ended the call on our own accord. After that, Rye and I seemed cool. I gaslit myself into believing that it was all water under the bridge, when in reality, what they did to me and Olivia, what they did to our relationship, is something that cannot be excused no matter what. But now that's pretty much where my story ends on the things that I have experienced with Rye. But now I want to take a moment to say some things to the two people that caused this. I'm going to start with you, Aaron. You knew to the fullest extent what I was going through at the time of you messaging me. You even listened to me when I told you that I was having suicidal thoughts because of what had been going on. And yet you had the nerve to say that I was selfish to have those thoughts, that it was selfish of me to think about ending my own life. That is something you never say to someone when they are feeling suicidal. I don't care what the circumstances is, that is not something you tell someone. I was inclined to believe that that was the case, and yet it still made me feel like shit. And you also knew that Olivia and I were slowly healing and were getting back together, and yet you continued to try to force me and her to stay away from each other. You were trying to urge me to let her go and to stop seeking a relationship with her. Newsflash, Aaron. What goes on in other people's relationships that you are not involved in is none of your fucking business. My relationship with Olivia is none of your fucking business. What goes on in our relationship is none of your business and never will be. It never was. It never was your business when we first started. It never was your business when you tried to put an end to it and orchestrate Olivia to be with someone else. And it never is and still is not your business to this day. I don't know how you are capable of sleeping at night knowing that you did this to me and her. You know what you did to me. You know what you did to her. You know that what you did caused tremendous pain and mental health damage to both of us. I hope for your sake that you understand where I'm coming from. And for the sake of those in your life, you never try to butt into anybody's relationship again. I know you're in a relationship, but even now, that relationship is very questionable. But I won't go into detail about it because I'm not properly educated on the whole thing. And now for you, Rye. Or should I say, Ryan. You would always get pissed off whenever someone would say your real name, despite everybody knowing your real name. There were countless times where your name was assumed and also confirmed. For Christ's sake, your name was Rye-Rye99. It was safe to assume that your name was Ryan. Then, another thing to add, I had already known that your name was Ryan from all the way back in 2016. Because when I was in a call with one of the girlfriends that you were RP dating, who was a minor at the time, while you were an adult, you were using your iPad and your Siri name dropped you. Your Siri called you by your real name, which was Ryan. Your own RP girlfriend, quote unquote, even said, no, don't lie, it said Ryan. And yet you continued to deny it. You also had the nerve to pull out the age of consent laws in one of your videos to justify your disgusting relationship with a 17-year-old when you were 23. You also erotically roleplayed with 2 minors. You made them uncomfortable and made them leave. And you had the nerve to also shame one of them when they were starting to focus on their own career instead of focusing on spending time with you. Rebecca and Bailey, those 2, you made so uncomfortable, and you predatorily messaged them, always making gross comments. And all of this has been shown in a live stream, so don't try to even come out and defend it, because we all already know what you have done. I don't think you realize this, Rye, but people have their own lives. We can't always be with you 24/7. And now for the things that you did to me. Do you realize what you have done to me? What you did to my relationship? What you did to my girlfriend? Your actions caused tremendous pain, some of which I am permanently scarred with. Your actions nearly drove me to ending my own life. I was thoroughly convinced that no one in this world cared about me truly. You caused me to feel pain I don't ever want anybody to ever go through, and yet it's something that millions upon billions of people go through every single day. Do you understand the extent of your actions? The consequences of your actions? You caused this, and you did this all to yourself. You went out of your way to try to force my relationship to end. When once again, what happens in a relationship that you are not involved in is none of your goddamn business. And yet you would know, but yet somehow you would know a thing or two about minors dating, since you seem to be very specialized in dating 3 of them. What you did is unforgivable. I don't care what you or Aaron can come out and say. There is nothing you can say that could ever justify what you guys did. There is no apology that you could give. There is no apology that I will accept. There is no explanation that I will be willing to hear out. And there is nothing you could say or do that could ever justify what you have done to me, my relationship, and my friends. You disappointed thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who looked up to you. You were constantly getting upset when people were wanting to go and do things themselves, when you were not being given attention. Come on, guys, you know me, is what you would always say. I thought I knew you. I thought I knew who you were. I thought I saw you as a brother, dude. I saw you as a fucking brother. I was friends with you for over 10 fucking years. I was looking out for you. Despite everything, I was inclined to believe that all of the stuff that had occurred were just rumors. I gave you the benefit of the doubt way too much. And I'm disgusted that it took me this long to see who you really are. You are a disgusting, gross, predatory pedophile. You always were trying to have a moral high ground while speaking to children who were your friends. And you always seemed to surround yourself with minors, no matter the age of your inappropriate games, of different games, including Cards Against Humanity. You had the audacity to grill people for something. You had the audacity to grill somebody who was doing the exact same thing that you were doing. You carried yourself with pride when you were such a low-life, horrendously awful person covered in filth. You tried to break apart a relationship because you didn't like it and tried to force relationships on your own accord. And you would blacklist people from your server if they dared to even think about making a remark that wasn't tasteful in your eyes alone. And by the way, these are things that Olivia noticed in you. These are red flags she noticed right off the bat. You always liked to surround yourself with fucking children for your own fun. And then you would use said children as your own personal therapists whenever you needed to vent about situations that never involved anyone. And you did everything except blame yourself when you know deep down you were always in the wrong. You would blame every single person except yourself for stuff that happened because of you. Because it was for what we thought was best. I don't think anything could be done to ever come back from this. There is nothing you could say, there is nothing you could do to ever justify what you have done. I am sick and disgusted by the things I have seen you have done. And you caused one of the biggest FNAF YouTubers in the industry, ETH Goes Boom, to feel scared for his own safety because you told multiple lies that I unfortunately believed. But I know the truth. I know to the extent of what you have done. And I hope for your own sake that you never set foot on the internet ever again. I hope for your own sake that you stay off the internet and focus on yourself, because this is a long battle with yourself. You did this to yourself. You have nobody to blame except your own self. Please do yourself and YouTube a favor by never returning. I'm sorry that you lost your mother. I really am. No one deserves to go through something like that. But I am very disappointed and disgusted that not only did you engage in such inappropriate actions with minors, your parents seemingly approved your relationships with minors. I do not understand why they would go as far as to do that. It's awful. So, with that, I think that will bring my video to an end. Thank you all for listening up to this point. I'm sorry that this isn't an ASMR video, but I promise you that those videos are coming. I already have a script typed out for the next video, and I will be releasing it hopefully tomorrow. I love you all, and I appreciate you guys hearing my side of the story. To the victims of Rye, I send my biggest and largest love and hugs to you guys. What he did to you is unforgivable. I'm truly sorry that you both, that not just you both, that you all went through such disgusting actions done by him. To Rye and Aaron, do not contact me ever again. Do not contact me. Do not try to reach out to me or Olivia, and do not even think about setting foot in my community. I have built my own community that I am extremely proud of, and I will not tolerate your disgusting behavior towards my community. Do not dare try to set foot on the internet again. All right, enough of the ranting. I think I'm done. Thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.